Good evening, good evening. It is Easter Monday, the 13th of April. It was a beautiful day today. The sun was shining. It wasn't warm. It was warmer than it has been in a good while. I keep hearing the neighbours. I can hear their TVs. Somebody was visiting next door. I keep hearing everything. Somebody is working on a house just a few doors down. Banging and sawing and I am so okay. I'm actually so okay. And I'm so not okay. This yo-yo thing. I'm okay. I eat too much cheese. I eat too much cheese. I'm starting to lose my mojo a little bit. But it's okay. We're 3 weeks in now, is it? This week, it will have been, by the end of this week, it will have been a month since everything closed, since the pubs closed. Yeah, and I suppose it's just also from the stories around me, the people I speak to, it's emotionally hard. It's starting to get tough. This is what I keep saying, you have to keep your eye on the ball. I've been hiding because all I've been doing is working. That's a way of hiding as well. I noticed that I haven't cleaned up my phone. I downloaded loads of apps and things, and it actually cannot do the update because it's so full. It's all ways of keeping the mind occupied, keeping busy, trying out new things. I'm good though. I'm good. I'm good. The body. Okay, let's do the thing. The body is okay. Still the same way. I'm not happy about it, but it's not getting worse. I'm okay with the challenge that I might run out of cheese. I've made peace with that I won't have to go out until next Monday. I can stretch the cat food, and I've been watching videos of frugal kitchens and stuff. This is not an issue. I know how to do this. But there is a bit of nagging in the back of my head. There is a bit of worry starting. I've lost interest in the numbers. It's gone. It's gone. A week ago, I was still going like, maybe it'll go up to 10,000 a day, 10,000 new deaths a day. But it's kind of hovering around 5,000. And by now I'm tired of it. I'm tired. There's other worries. I'm starting to not made peace, but realized that what has happened on a civil liberties front, it's really serious. And that the new normal will not be the normal that we knew. And there's worries in there. I've been dreaming of walking to Jerusalem for a long time. I need that motivation in order to work and in order to move forward. There is so much I want to do. And my ability seems to be very limited. It's not about pity or it's none of that. It's limited. I'm a limited person. I can only do so much, take so much, and I'm the limiter. Because if I don't limit, then I will be all over the shop. Just look at me now, just with the past month, like I work, I study. I get really tired. I'm running away from what's happening around me. I'm doing all the right things. And today I did 3 hours of teaching, and I'm feeling disheartened a little bit. Again, it's not serious. Job satisfaction is a we love what we do. I love the teaching. The weekends are tough. This time is tough. I haven't been out for a walk in a long time. Civil liberties in my body. I was talking about my body. Okay, so yeah, it's still the same. I'm not happy. I'm still not moving. But I haven't the excuse that I'm overwhelmed by all the stuff I didn't do for a long time, and that is now there. I'm overwhelmed by it. But the being overwhelmed is of my own making. It can all be done. Motivation. How do you survive? Survive means that you need to be motivated. There needs to be something that keeps you going. That's how it works in pilgrimages as well. It's 2 years ago since I started walking alone again. It's 2 years and 2 days ago since I started walking alone. I initially left with a Breton here from Ireland, and in Port Talbot, he couldn't do it anymore. Something happened that morning. He was where I am now. We met a man, a Welsh man, in Neath, as we walked out of the town. And when he heard, he stopped us. Just like so many, when you travel, you meet like all the amazing people and you meet the oddballs. And this was one of those oddballs. And he asked him where he was from. He asked the Breton where he was from, and the Breton said that he was originally from Bretagne, but he was living in Ireland. Oh, the Celtic people. And then he said, the Welshman said, I speak Breton. And he started speaking in Breton to him. He had learned it through reading the Bible. Okay. And it threw the Breton in such a way, and between his rattling knees, which had been rattling for a long time, suddenly he couldn't take it anymore. We walked to Port Talbot. I had an interview with Patricia Messenger that morning, and we stopped in there were council offices, because I needed Wi-Fi. I needed better connection, and there was a better connection there. So we asked, could we be in the canteen? And they allowed us to be in the canteen, and we sat there, and I was waiting for the call, and then the call became later, and we walked out of the place afterwards. We walked into Port Talbot, and we had something to eat. Port Talbot is like a really strange place. It's an old coal mining harbour, and there's still a lot of industry, and there's this big road goes along the coast. And you see the water. We decided not to go into the hills because his knees weren't good enough, and I wasn't fit enough yet. We went for something to eat. I'll never forget that place. It was like they'd closed the church, and they had a kind of like a community centre, but there was a priest there. There was a pastor there in psychological services, and a play school, and a coffee shop, and there was childcare services, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, yeah, this is how it should be, a place for everybody. And we walked out, and we were trying to cross the road underneath a bridge, and it was like some kind of bridge and a double road, and we crossed, and he said to me, I can't do this. I can't do it. I have to take a bus, and I got really cross. I said, I can't walk with somebody who's not walking. I can't do it. You have to walk. If you don't walk, then what's the point? Like, I'm on a pilgrimage. I'm on my way to Rome. I carry a harp. You just carry a bag. You're 10 years younger than I am, or even more. And I need to get to Rome. And he said, I can't do it. I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to get on a bus. I said, okay, what you need to do is you need to go onward, forward. And you need to go sort out whatever is wrong with you. And then you meet me like a week from now. And we'll take it from there. And he left. Like, and I walk along. One of the lessons I've learned over time is that in the end, I am alone. I'm the only one who can do what I do because it's my thing to do. People get like enamored with the idea, or they get drawn in, or they think that they want it. But the thing is that for each and all of us, every single person, our journey is ours to make. And it's lovely to think that we can share those journeys with other people, but it's our journey to make. And I walked into the hills. I followed, there was a cycle route that I was following. And I realized that I was alone, that I was really alone. And that in those 2 weeks that I had the company, I had made a mistake, which I make over and over and over in my life, which is I had relaxed the thought of that it was my responsibility. And I had left some of that responsibility with this other person. And of course they found out it wasn't their road. And I got so angry. And there was no reception. And I felt so frustrated. That night I lost my walking stick, which is an entire story in itself. And the day after, I made it to Pontypridd, where I would be picked up in the morning to go to BBC studios to be the Good Morning, Good News. And I felt very insecure. I felt so insecure. I really wasn't sure I could do it. And when I left Pontypridd the next day, that is another story in itself. I sat in the park and I cried. I was so frustrated. And I cried and I ranted. And then I walked out. And this little girl started talking to me. She was cycling with her father for a good cause, for homeless people. And she just talked to me. She just stopped. They passed me by on this bicycle. And she just chatted to me. And, you know, children. I asked her what she was doing. I told her that what she did was very special. And I told her that it's amazing that to find our way that early on, and that it was a really good thing what she was doing. Not so much for the you know, doing good. Doing good very often is just an excuse for us to help ourselves. But I thought it was really good that she had found something that she was passionate about. That she had a heart that was so open that she could recognize the suffering in other people. And that she felt empowered enough to go and do something about that. And she asked me why I was sad. And I said, I didn't really know. And that being sad is part of life and that's okay. And she stayed with me for an hour or so on the road. And I walked on to Carfilly that evening to meet Mary, who I'd never met. And she was a lady in her 80s, a friend of Grania, who I had met in Spain 10 years before. They're part of a group of women who have been fighting for a long time for equal rights within the Catholic Church for women. And that little girl, I saw the photograph of her again today. That little girl really touched me. And she knew and she recognized. And she, by instinct, knew what I needed, which was just a bit of company. And here we are 2 years later. Of course, like, we have I spend time online with my friends, but in the end, I am alone, and I know where my path lies, and it will lead to Jerusalem. Now the question becomes how. This whole thing is not good. It's not good. I realize that if it keeps going, that I can keep working, no problem. I can survive here, no problem. But I'm very much dependent on meeting people and on spending time with people. People are the pointers, are the ones who teach me the lessons I need to learn in order to move on within my life. It's not always just the generosity, but it is like the little girls that I met going out of Pontypridd, those chance meetings. And it's really, really, really sad to think that people who are holding on to something that doesn't exist anymore, this really high sense of privilege that they've caused, like a dent in civil liberties that we may never recover from. Never mind the numbers, never mind the amount of people that are dying. The future is looking really bleak. But as a pilgrim, I know you have to keep your eye on the ball. I keep repeating it, and I have to keep repeating it because I need to remind myself all the time. The way to survive is to deal with stuff that is there when you need to deal with it. There is nothing anymore that can be done about the way the virus spreads. That by now has been decided, and it's been a disappointing journey for me. And now I have to look to the future. I know what this pandemic is doing, and I know what the outcome will be. And it will touch every single one of us. Every single one of us will be touched by this. And when we come out on the other side, if there is another side, that will have chipped away at those civil liberties to an extent that we will not be able to speak of the freedom in the sense that we knew it. But that freedom is what my entire life has been based on. One of the things I kept saying when I walked to Rome was that it is our right to put our feet on the roads of this world, to wander wherever we go, be it whoever we are. Now, for good or for bad, for better or for worse, I feel I cannot even leave my own home. And I've been distracting myself with work because work will make it possible for me to do the next trip. But when we come to the other side of this, we may not be able to move freely anymore. And even if I wanted to now, how would I go to England? How would I cross England? How would I cross France? How do I get through former Yugoslavia, Romania, Turkey? But that is what the plan is. So my body may not be the best. My head is filled with worry. And it's not helpful because the worry doesn't help. There is nothing I can do about anything that is going on right now. So I put the letters out in the sunshine because they've been inside and it's been a little bit warm in here. And they're not very strong. So I have to harden them off a little bit. Every day when the sun is out, they will go outside. See which ones will survive. Not all of them will survive, but to make them stronger. And as this realization was dawning on me, looking to tomorrow, I had only 3 hours of teaching, and I wasn't that motivated. I enjoy the children. I start teaching demos by the end of the week. It'll be a change. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. The junior program is hard to teach. It's 3 kids, and I had one of those lessons today, and how do I get children who have no English, how do I get them to stop talking in Chinese to their parents? How do I explain in the lesson that it's better to just be quiet and to just do as we're being asked? And of course, like internet teaching, one of the things, especially with the young children and the ones that are not really at any level yet, they just see a face on a screen. You might as well be a computer game. And because the screens are really small in the new lessons, there is less eye contact. But it's really not polite to put those microphones off all the time, because then you can't hear what they're saying. Some of the parents also don't seem to understand this. And what they certainly do not understand is that we can hear everything that goes on in any of those living rooms. So if they're not in a quiet space, you can hear people talking, you can hear whatever is going on. Oh, I just wasn't. I was looking forward to it. It was the ABC, the first lesson. One child didn't, just first 20 minutes, completely over their head. Little Mary, she was fine, but it went too slow for her because the other two were like, and one just was, you get these little screamers, and they just, if you repeat something twice, they just go, ah! You know, ah, a apple, apple. Apple! Apple! 40 minutes. Seek a car. Beep a butterfly. And the rest was easy enough. At the end of the week, demos. There's worry in my head about the future. And I just sat in the sun. I sat out in the sunshine. I petted the cats. Every cat came by and had a little nuzzle and a little hug. Drank cups of tea. Sat out in the sun. Messed around with the flower pots. Took some of the weeds out. Did a tiny bit of weeding in the garden. Really tiny little bit. Evicted a few more snails. There's some exciting stuff happening in the garden. There is lamb's lettuce that sowed itself. I went to seed last year. I didn't think the seeds would actually do anything, but it sowed itself, and there's about 3-4 little plants now. There was 1 little plant last year, and there's about 4 or 5 of them now. Very exciting, and oh man, it tastes good. One of them had come up when I pulled out a dandelion, which I didn't want to pull out because dandelions are really good for like loads of things, but there's so many. I just sat around and didn't do very much. Feeling like this. Spoke to my friend in Berlin, who was also very tearful and got herself a new job. What's gonna happen, like? What are we gonna do? How long will it take before I can actually be out again? What do I do in the meantime? Do I just bumble on like this? Do I need human contact? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I'll take it, I'll take it whatever way it comes. Obviously, whatever is going on, I need to spend this time on my own. So that's okay. I can do that. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And every time I watch the news, Boris Johnson is out of hospital. Spin. Spin is one of the most disgusting things in contemporary society. Boris Johnson spoke of herd immunity. He was okay with sacrificing a substantial part of his population. And now, he wanted to get Brexit done. Brexit was the most important thing before any of this happened. And now he's waxing lyrically about the Portuguese nurse who saved his life. I suppose some lessons are learned the hard way. But this man is what he is, and the same goes for Irish politics. People are waxing lyrical. Fine Gael now. We're going to get a Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil grand coalition. And we've all forgotten what happened. It was only months ago that 10,000 people were sleeping out in the street. It's only months ago that I saw a video of an old folks' home where people went like, yeah, Brexit, yeah, let's get those foreigners out. Cutting in healthcare systems left, right and centre because, two-tier healthcare system here in Ireland. In England, cutting in the NHS. And now these people who we weren't willing to pay, we're now dependent on them to save our lives. And people stand out and applaud them, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong with it is that they weren't acknowledged at all. The applauding should have happened before any of this happened. The story of the Chinese doctor. The Chinese doctor gets paid when somebody is healthy. It doesn't get paid when somebody is sick. I'm telling you, this world is topsy-turvy. It's upside down. And I don't like being worried. So I need to get rid of this feeling. There's my plan. Get rid of that feeling. All the petitions, all these movements, all that. And it's not good enough. And I feel really, really alone. I know that'll pass because I don't mind being alone, but this feeling is not a nice feeling. It never is. So I ate my second last noodle soup. I love those packets of noodle soup, and it's so not good for you. And I had it with loads of cheese and loads of parsley. And it was really good. And after that, I ate more cheese. That's what I had today. Yeah. And there's peace and quiet in the house. The cats are all chilled out. And tomorrow will be another day. I nearly didn't do this video because the yo-yo effect that has been going on. And it doesn't make me feel good to show it. But I realize that that is part of diaries. A lot of it is working through whatever is going on. I'm okay. Like, I am okay. This is just what's in my head. I'm kind of a little sad that all of it is done in the one take videos, and I would love to just find a way of working away the backlog and doing a little bit more filming. I think they're funnier. They're funnier and they're nicer. Now, yeah, tomorrow will be another day. And most likely the yo-yo will be up again. I found that at the beginning of the day, I'm often better than at the end of the day. I think what I'm struggling with a little bit is I feel inadequate. The whole thing about the technology and stuff. I don't feel really adequate at the moment, and that bothers me a little bit. It's a nice reminder that I need to look after myself. I need to look after my mental health. Mental health, it's a big fucking word. Like, there's nothing wrong with my mental health, but like that this is an extreme. I need to remind myself this is an extreme situation. It's extreme that I've been here for so long. I'm kind of starting to also find it really hard that I haven't heard anything from my brother. On purpose, I wasn't really calling him because they have kids, and you know, we have our stuff. But I did try to call him a few days ago, and he hasn't gotten back to me. And you know, family. Oh yes. Oh yes. Tomorrow will be another day. The mornings I feel good. It's when I come to the end of the day, it's when all the doubts set in and all the worry comes up. So, nothing serious. Just it's starting to drag a little bit. Now, thank you very much for being here with me. Thank you for hearing me out. Sorry for being such a downer. Thank you for hanging in there with me. And I'll see you all tomorrow. The rest is okay, like. Oh, numbers. Yeah, last time I looked, 180 something thousand deaths. Is it? Or 100 and, I don't know now, but, and 1.7 million cases worldwide. 360 thousand recoveries. That curve is still going up, like, it's still going up straight. In other news, yeah, Grand Coalition. Feeling a little bit frustrated with work. Did all that studying. I'm not really succeeding. I know it just needs, I'll give it a little bit more time. And I am looking forward to starting the demo sessions. Something tells me I'm really going to enjoy them, because I get to teach like the same lessons over and over and over. Like, I have that down in 2 or 3 weeks. At the moment, I think I'm a little bit worried about my rating. I'm I'm not getting consistently like the highest numbers anymore. And I don't know why. I don't know what changed. I would like to spend more time outside. I'd like to go for a walk. I want to be out there. I miss playing. And on that note, good night. I'll try and work. Tomorrow is another day.